Hello Moto GP fans. Welcome back to ZNGP Today. Aprilia arrive in Barcelona holding a slender championship lead. Jorge Martín's Le Mans win, tightening the title fight with Marco Bezzecchi. Ducati head to Catalunya under pressure after a difficult French weekend and will be without Marc Márquez, who is recovering from double surgery. The Catalan round runs from Friday, May 15th to Sunday, May 17th at the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya. Gigi Dall'Igna posted a frank, measured assessment after a weekend that began with promise for Ducati but ended with 2 costly crashes and 0 points. He praised the team's underlying pace, acknowledged the emotional contrast in the garage, and confirmed that Marc Márquez had been riding while not fully fit, a factor that helps explain his Le Mans performance and subsequent surgery. Ducati will run a single factory rider at the Catalan Grand Prix after Marc Márquez's double surgery, leaving Pecco Bagnaia as the team's sole representative in Montmello. The factory said it will not field a replacement this weekend and stressed that Márquez's health remains the priority. Paddock analyst Carlo Pernat described Le Mans as a defining weekend that elevated Aprilia into clear title favorite territory while exposing fresh doubts in Ducati's camp. He praised Aprilia's structural progress and two-rider strength, contrasted Marc Márquez's one-lap brilliance with race-time fragility, and flagged a likely multi-race recovery period for the injured Spaniard. Don't forget to click subscribe button and the bell icon for MotoGP news update. Marco Bezzecchi leads the standings by a single point, but Aprilia's momentum, capped by a Le Mans podium sweep and Martín's Grand Prix victory, has reshaped expectations. Ducati are searching for answers after Le Mans. Marquez will be a key figure as the factory races without Marc Márquez. A tight gap at the top means small setup gains or a single strong weekend can swing the championship quickly. The Catalan Grand Prix weekend runs 15 to 17 May at the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya. It is the second of 4 Spanish rounds on the 2026 calendar, and a pivotal stop in the European swing. Barcelona's mix of high-speed corners and technical sections rewards a balanced chassis and confident front-end feel. The schedule follows the standard MotoGP weekend, 2 practice sessions on Friday, FP2 on Saturday, qualifying in the sprint, and the Grand Prix on Sunday. Teams will use Friday to consolidate race setups and Saturday to finalize qualifying runs and sprint strategy. With sprint points and grid position both on the line, Saturday's decisions on tire and aero choices will be crucial. Aprilia, Martín and Bezzecchi head in as the form pairing. Their inter-team battle will be central to the title fight. Ducati, Marquez is expected to shoulder extra responsibility while Marc Márquez recovers. Ducati must stabilize Bagnaia's front-end issues. Others, riders who excel at corner entry and tire management, could upset the established order at Barcelona. Catalunya often exposes setup compromises. Teams that find a usable baseline early gain a weekend advantage. With the championship tight and weather or setup choices able to swing results, Barcelona promises high stakes. Aprilia will aim to consolidate its advantage. Ducati must convert pace into consistent Sunday results without Márquez. Expect close qualifying battles, strategic tire calls for the sprint, and a Grand Prix where tire life and front-end confidence decide the podium. The Catalan round will be an early litmus test for which teams can sustain form through the dense European schedule. The Catalan Grand Prix is set to be a defining weekend. Aprilia look to extend a fragile lead. Ducati must respond while managing an enforced absence, and several riders have the chance to shift momentum. Watch qualifying and sprint choices closely. They will shape Sunday's race and the championship narrative heading into the next block of rounds. Ducati arrived at Le Mans showing strong single-lap speed and optimism from qualifying, but the weekend unraveled after Márquez's sprint high side and Bagnaia's later crash in the Grand Prix. Dall'Igna described the result as another difficult day, and stressed that the team's competitive base remains solid despite the scoreline. We were fast from the start. However, Le Mans ended up being the complete opposite of what we expected. The sprint incident involving Marquez set a negative tone that culminated in Bagnaya's DNF on Sunday. Dall'Igna framed those incidents as the decisive setbacks of the weekend, not a reflection of a lost development path but as isolated events that must be analyzed and corrected. Two high-profile DNFs in one weekend amplified pressure on engineers and riders to validate upgrades under race conditions quickly. Dall'Igna revealed that Marquez had been carrying a shoulder issue that required surgery, information not previously public, and noted the rider wasn't at 100% during the sprint. That context reframes his Le Mans pace and crash. The record lap and front row qualifying were impressive given the physical constraints, and the subsequent operations explain his enforced absence from Barcelona. Marc wasn't at 100%, and now we all know why. Addressing chronic injuries surgically can cost short-term availability, but may remove a persistent performance limiter long-term. Fabio Di Giannantonio emerged as the weekend's positive for Ducati, finishing as the top Ducati rider with a strong fourth place and demonstrating maturity and consistency. Dall'Igna singled him out as proof that the project's depth can still deliver results, while the factory recovers. Satellite or non-factory riders often become crucial data sources and point scorers when a factory team faces disruption. Dall'Igna struck a balance between self-criticism and confidence. The team must improve, but the foundations are sound. The immediate priorities are diagnosing the causes of the crashes, stabilizing race distance performance, and maintaining morale while Marquez recovers. He closed with a rallying message to the garage and well wishes for Marquez's recovery. Teams that combine honest post-mortems with focused technical follow-up typically recover faster across a season. Ducati's Le Mans weekend is a reminder that raw pace does not guarantee points when reliability, rider fitness, and late race stability are in flux. The short term will be about damage control and validating fixes. The medium term hinges on Marquez's rehabilitation and Ducati's ability to convert qualifying speed into consistent race results. If the team addresses the identified issues quickly, the Le Mans setback can become a contained episode rather than a season-defining trend. Ducati opted not to replace Marquez for the Catalan round, citing limited upside and logistical constraints. With Marquez recovering from operations on his right foot and right shoulder, the team judged that inserting a stand-in for a single weekend offered little benefit and could distract from ongoing development work. His health remains the priority. Running one fewer factory bike reduces Ducati's immediate data-gathering capacity and places extra pressure on the remaining riders to score points. Pecco Bagnaia will be Ducati's only factory starter in Barcelona. The team confirmed it will not call on test rider Michel Pirro, who is focused on 2027 development, nor on Nicolo Bilega, who is committed to World Superbike duties this weekend. Relying on Bagnaia alone concentrates responsibility for both results and setup feedback on a single rider. Marquez underwent successful surgery to stabilize a fractured fifth metatarsal and to remove problematic metalwork from his right shoulder. Ducati left open the possibility of a Friday practice appearance if Marquez feels fit, but provided no firm return date, expressing hope he might be available for the Italian Grand Prix at the end of the month. Dual procedures complicate recovery planning. Teams typically avoid rushing a rider back until medical clearance and functional testing are complete. Marquez's absence removes a key development voice and a proven race contender from Ducati's immediate plans. That increases the importance of Bagnaia and satellite riders to validate upgrades and protect constructor points while the factory adapts to reduced on-track resources. When a lead rider is sidelined, teams often intensify simulator work and data sharing to limit the competitive gap. Barcelona will be a test of Ducati's depth and resilience. Bagnaia must convert pace into points while engineers continue to address the recurring issues that cost results at Le Mans. Rivals will look to capitalize on Ducati's temporary weakness, but the factory's long-term development program remains intact. How Ducati manages setup validation and morale this weekend will influence its momentum heading into the European summer swing. Ducati's choice not to replace Marquez is pragmatic. Prioritize recovery and development over a one-off substitution. The immediate consequence is a heavier burden on Bagnaia and satellite riders to deliver results and technical feedback. If Marquez's rehabilitation proceeds well, Ducati could regain full strength by the Italian Grand Prix. Until then, the team must balance short-term damage control with steady progress on the bike. Pernat framed Aprilia's Le Mans result as the product of sustained technical and organizational work rather than a one-off. He highlighted the factory's depth, 2 top-class riders and a coherent development path, and called the team the current benchmark for the championship. Aprilia has done excellent work from a technical standpoint, but not only that, today they have 2 riders of the same caliber. When a manufacturer combines a competitive bike with 2 mature riders, it gains both race-winning upside and resilience across a long season. Pernat described Ducati's Le Mans as complicated, pointing to inconsistent performances from Pecco Bagnaia and the disruptive effect of Marquez's crash and subsequent surgery. He warned that Ducati's strong qualifying pace did not translate into race stability, leaving the team in an alert state. High single-lap speed paired with race distance fragility is a dangerous combination. It yields headlines but few points. Pernat emphasized the contrast between Marquez's monstrous qualifying lap and his compromised race form, attributing the gap to accumulated injuries and the shoulder problem now addressed surgically. He estimated a recovery window of at least 2 to 3 Grands Prix before Marquez could be fully competitive again. This, in fact, isn't the Marquez we know. On Saturday, he demonstrated his talent once again with a monstrous lap. Surgical fixes can remove chronic limiters, but rehabilitation timelines and readaptation to race loads determine the true sporting impact. Pernat saw Yamaha's Le Mans uptick as circumstantial rather than structural, praising Fabio Quartararo's home performance but urging caution about extrapolating long-term gains. Honda was credited with steady, incremental progress and a stable midfield presence. Short-term spikes at home races are common. Sustained championship relevance requires repeated validation across diverse circuits. Le Mans, Pernat argued, may be a turning point. Aprilia's depth and momentum put them in a strong position, while Ducati must convert pace into consistent race results and manage Marquez's absence. The coming rounds will test whether Aprilia can sustain dominance and whether Ducati can contain the damage. When margins are small, reliability, rider fitness and intra-team management often decide championships more than raw top speed. Pernat's read of Le Mans is stark but measured. Aprilia looks like the team to beat right now, thanks to coherent development and 2 elite riders, while Ducati faces a short-term crisis that could widen if fixes and recoveries don't arrive quickly. The next few rounds will reveal whether Le Mans was a structural shift or a single dramatic weekend in an otherwise open title fight. Thanks for watching ZNGP Today, and this is your Moto GP news update. And see you next time!